America's 10 most dangerous cities. Welcome back to StateLog. Today, we're examining 10 American cities facing extraordinary challenges with crime, economic decline, and infrastructure collapse. These aren't just statistics, they're real communities struggling with complex systemic issues. Let's analyze what the data actually tells us. 10. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Pine Bluff's violent crime rate exceeds double the national average, with property crime following close behind as the population has declined for decades. The city's manufacturing base evaporated when paper mills downsized, leaving abandoned homes outnumbering available jobs. Median rent sits around $750 monthly, reflecting collapsed demand rather than affordability, while unemployment remains among Arkansas's highest despite revitalization efforts and arts grants. Momentum consistently stalls when crime spikes or businesses close, and deteriorating infrastructure compounds daily challenges. 9. Gallup, New Mexico. Gallup reports violent crime nearly 3 times the national average. With nearly 1/3 of residents living below the poverty line, the city's detox centers operate continuously with waiting lists, as alcoholism rates rank among the nation's highest, at 7,000 feet elevation with median rent around $900. The limited job market makes even low housing costs feel expensive. Systemic underinvestment in infrastructure and emergency services creates ongoing crises, despite the area's stunning desert landscape and rich Navajo and Zuni cultural heritage. 8. East Street, Louis, Illinois. East St. Louis demonstrates extreme municipal collapse with violent crime rates exceeding 20 times the national average and median household income around $24,000. The population has declined over 60% since the 1950s. As the city government faced bankruptcy, corruption scandals, and complete administrative breakdowns. Basic services began failing systematically. In 2013, police response times stretched indefinitely. Trash pickup became irregular, and streetlights broke permanently. Located directly across from St. Louis, the city serves as a stark reminder of how quickly systems deteriorate without adequate funding and oversight. 7. Gary, Indiana. Gary's population collapsed from 178,000 to barely 68,000, after automation and downsizing eliminated the steel manufacturing industry that built the city. Violent crime rates approximately 4 times the national average, combined with vacancy rates among the nation's highest and median home prices around $50,000. The job market shifted entirely to service work and warehouses as manufacturing vanished, leaving crumbling infrastructure throughout the city. Gary sits just 40 minutes from Chicago's thriving suburbs, creating jarring economic contrasts within a single metropolitan region. 6. Danville, Virginia. Danville's violent crime rate reaches roughly double the national average, while median income barely exceeds $40,000, well below state and national benchmarks. The economy once relied on textiles and tobacco, but now depends largely on nostalgia and casino speculation. Until 2020, the city seal featured a Confederate flag, reflecting deeper racial, generational, and economic tensions that divide the community. Downtown revival efforts look promising until you walk 3 blocks to shuttered shops, and promised revitalization projects remain unfinished construction zones years later. 5. Compton, California. Compton's violent crime rate runs approximately double the national average, though crime has actually decreased as rapid gentrification transforms the city. Median income around $56,000 faces costs 43% above the national average, with rent averaging $1,600 monthly and climbing steadily. Half the city battles entrenched poverty, food deserts, and underfunded schools, while the other half gets remodeled for real estate speculation. The Richland Farms neighborhood features urban equestrians riding horses through streets, capturing the surreal contrasts of a community caught between its historic identity and displacement. 4. Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. Wilkinsburg's residents voted to dissolve their borough and merge with Pittsburgh, but the referendum failed, leaving them trapped in municipal dysfunction. Violent crime rates nearly tripled the national average, while the population dropped over 50% since the 1950s. Property taxes exceed Pittsburgh's despite offering fewer services. As the school district was absorbed years ago and basic city operations barely function, residents pay more for less police coverage and minimal infrastructure maintenance while living in Pittsburgh's shadow, close enough to see prosperity but unable to access it. 3. Stockton, California. Stockton became the first major U.S. city to declare bankruptcy during the 2008 housing crash and nearly repeated the process, with violent crime exceeding double the national average. Median household income sits around $58,000. But cost of living runs 25% above average, with rent averaging $1,500 monthly and unemployment fluctuating between 7 to 10%. The city features jarring contrasts in housed encampments across from gated communities and boarded homes 1 block from luxury condos. Stockton represents California's economic inequality in microcosm, with the aesthetic of prosperity built on foreclosure notices and mounting debt. To Camden, New Jersey. Camden held the title of America's most dangerous city for years before disbanding its entire police department in 2013, due to corruption and rebuilding under county control. Violent crime rates peaked at 6 times the national average, with poverty reaching roughly 36%, while median household income, around $28,000, contrasts sharply, with rent often exceeding $1,300. The population declined nearly 40% from its peak as the city developed brand-new waterfront attractions 2 blocks from vacant homes and open-air drug markets. Camden demonstrates both the possibility of institutional reform and the enormous challenges of rebuilding trust after decades of systemic failure. 1. Newburgh, New York. Newburgh claims the #1 position with violent crime rates 4 times the national average in a Hudson River town of just 28,000 people located 60 miles north of Manhattan. Shootings occur so frequently they don't always make local news. While median household income sits around $41,000, with poverty exceeding 26%. Victorian architecture and riverfront views create a postcard aesthetic that sharply contrasts with gangs, boarded businesses, and infrastructure reflecting decades of neglect. Newburgh represents the geographic paradox of American inequalities, tunning natural setting and proximity to wealth combined with concentrated poverty and danger that residents experience daily. These 10 cities share common patterns: economic collapse following industrial decline, population loss, failing infrastructure, and breakdown of municipal services. Crime doesn't appear randomly, it fills vacuums left by departed resources and oversight, while communities continue organizing and demonstrating remarkable resilience. Understanding these challenges helps us recognize that urban crisis results from specific policy choices, disinvestment patterns, and systemic failures we can identify and address. Thanks for watching StateLogs. Subscribe for more data-driven analysis of America's most challenging social and economic issues.